Yes, I am alive. I am here, and it's been a long time. It's really been a long time. I'll do an update video, just basically telling you guys, kind of what I've been up to. Why I've been on a bit of a hiatus. But this is the tag video. I was tagged by Sung Wukong a few weeks ago now. He brought me out of the hibernation. That was his intention. He said, if I tag you in this video, will you do a response? And I said, yes. Yeah, I will. I'm bringing true to that promise. So yeah, thanks for tagging me. I like these tag videos. Even if I've answered these questions before in previous tag videos, I don't mind redoing it because it gives me a chance to kind of discuss things and kind of talk about things that I like talking about. And wow, I feel out of practice. This has been the longest hiatus I've been on. 3 months since I've uploaded. Might not be, there's people who don't upload for like a year, and then just come back out of the blue, but 3 months is a long time for me, taking into account that it was such a serious hobby of mine, uploading, doing reviews and things like that. But anyway, that's another video topic which I will do, probably in a Sunday archive. So there are, how many questions are on this? There are 7 questions, all anime related. So yeah, even though I'm a manga guy, as you can see from behind me, most of the stuff there is manga. Let's do anime. So, first question: what's the first anime you ever watched? The first anime I ever watched was Akira. You can see from my beautiful steelbook here. I didn't actually watch it on this. I actually watched it on TV years ago when I was a kid. I didn't realise it was anime at the time. I was very young. I was about 6 or 7 years old. And Akira was on really late on TV at night, and it was really unusual. So seeing something animated, something that I assumed was a children's cartoon, on at like 10 o'clock in the night. I was actually being babysat by one of my mum's friends at the time. She was out. I think I was just having a girls' night out or something like that. And I just remember I was being babysat, so that was a good excuse for me to stay up. And it was on a weekend, so yeah, I stayed up, past my bedtime. And Akira was on. I think it was on BBC Two at like something stupid, like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And yeah, I vividly remember the scenes where Tetsuo is hallucinating after he's been captured by the government, and he escapes, and he needs his capsules, his medicine, and his psychic powers are starting to unlock, and he starts hallucinating. Like the ground is like crumbling underneath his feet. He imagines that his guts fall out, and he's trying to pick them up. And Kaneda and all of his other friends are helplessly watching, like, what's wrong with him. I vividly remember that scene, and I just remember that just stuck with that film stuck with me for years. And then years and years later, when I was a little bit more aware, when I actually knew what anime was, when I was into Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, things like that, I rewatched Akira just by chance, stumbled across it by chance, watched the DVD, and like, oh my god, this is what I watched years ago. So yeah, that was my first experience with anime, Akira. Now the second question is, what is your favourite and least favourite anime genre? Now this isn't a question I can answer wholeheartedly, as when I watch anime I'm very open-minded when I'm watching a different type of anime in regards to its genre. When I'm considering to watch an anime, I don't necessarily take into account the setting, the premise, the story, the plot, anything like that. I go solely on its critical acclaim, and if people actually generally enjoy it, or just sometimes I kind of take a stab in the dark and think, oh, that looks pretty cool. Maybe just on its visual, just the visuals alone. So I can easily watch a romance, sci-fi, horror, thriller, comedy, anything really. I can watch anything so long as it grips me and I'm engaged with it, emotionally, and from a critical level as well. As anytime I watch something, being a reviewer, I tend to just automatically analyze things. That's given me that ability to do so, by talking about things, in videos. So yeah, I'm very open-minded when it comes to watching anime. The only kind of anime I will avoid is anime that have like fan service in. If there was a particular genre that I would say I would avoid, not necessarily dislike because I haven't really given it a chance, but ecchi, shows that are just specifically ecchi in genre, and that is their kind of like their target, to their intention. They're things that I will avoid, as I don't really have any interest in experiencing something that solely sells itself on its sex appeal. I'm not, I don't buy into things like that generally, just in general pop culture. I'm not going to be lured into something that that just wants to be bought based on its sex appeal, and doesn't take into account its characters or story or anything like that. I just think that's a really cheap marketing tactic, and I will gladly avoid something like that. Maybe that's small-minded of me, but that's just my perspective on on that kind of marketing and that kind of idea of selling something. So if I had to say my least favorite genre of anime, then I'll probably say ecchi, because it's so prevalent in anime nowadays. I mean, I wouldn't say I dislike fan service, because fan service can be used correctly. If I say fan service is a very generic term, I guess you could say sexual fan service can be used, to make something better. But something that is just completely centric around that is something that I will definitely avoid. In terms of favorite genres, I don't have a favorite genre. It's based solely on my enjoyment of that series. I do kind of gravitate towards like thrillers and dramas and things like that, but I'm not I'm not a fanboy for one particular genre. But now thinking about it, if I did say I would have a least favorite genre, then it definitely would be ecchi. Third question: how many anime have you seen so far? Probably not as much as what people would expect, including films, TV series, OVAs, and things like that. Probably close to 150, which for probably that's really probably not that much. I know it's nothing compared to Sun Wukong. He's watched loads, but I just simply don't have the time to kind of dedicate myself to series, and will tend to find myself gravitating towards shorter series. And anytime I do want to watch a longer series, I would wholeheartedly dedicate myself to that one series and watch that instead of watching things simultaneously. It does take me a long time to get around to watching anime. I have a huge backlog simply just because I don't have the time. And any free time is spent mostly on either going out and socializing or just doing like more active activities. I only really have time to watch anime when I'm either kind of getting ready for bed and things like that, and like when I get into bed, I'll maybe spend about 1 or 2 hours before I actually go to sleep, either reading manga or watching anime. But nowadays that's actually quite a rare thing. So yeah, I haven't really watched that much anime in the bigger scheme of things for like how long I've been a fan of it and how long I've been collecting it. But I'm not in a rush. That's the thing. There's no rush with anime. I'm not, I'm not one of them kind of people who watches anime seasonally either. Unless it's something that I really do want to watch. If there's something that I either know about or I've heard about, or something that I've read the manga for and I want to see the anime version of it, then I'll watch it. Or something that's really hyped up. I'll get around to watching it. But I'm not a big seasonal watcher. I will kind of get around to watching anime just in my own time. Moderate amount of anime, I guess you could say. Next question. What was the last anime that made you cry? I don't often cry when I'm watching anime. I cry mostly at films. Probably the last thing that made me cry anime-wise was probably Mushishi. I was recently watching, well, I say recently, within the last few months I've been watching the second season of Mushishi. And because those episodes are told episodically, it's not serialized. Some of the stories can be very hard hitting when it comes to how they're told on an emotional level, because they all have to be contained within one episode, so they try and cram a lot of emotional scenes just in that short amount of time. And I think it's particularly when me and Sun Wukong watched the OVA. I think that was very, very emotional from what I remember. And you kind of tend to find yourself like tearing up, but I've never like sobbed or anything like that at an anime or even a film. The only one time I've ever sobbed, or not sobbed, but like really cried hard watching any sort of media was Schindler's List, and that's a film. In terms of anime, there's a few teary moments with Code Geass. I remember a particular episode with Euphemia. If you've seen Code Geass, then you know what I'm talking about. That really, really shocked me to the point where I was like, no, this cannot happen. Yeah, but Mushishi definitely has them hard-hitting emotional moments. Next question is, what anime are you currently watching? This is actually a multiple rewatch. I actually started watching this a few months ago, well, probably about 2 months ago. I stopped, and now I've just picked it back up. I've started again from episode 1, and that's Outlaw Star, one of my favourite animes of all time, from when I used to watch it on CNX, or Toonami, back in the day. Outlaw Star is just amazing. I'm such a huge fan of it. I always have been. I would love to be able to read the manga. I think the manga does go a little bit more in depth with the story, and there are a few more, different plot elements that aren't shown in the series. Could be wrong. I'm not exactly too sure. But yeah, I'm rewatching Outlaw Star at the moment. I do need to kind of catch up on what I'm watching on Crunchyroll. I was actually watching Ore Monogatari. As I heard it was a really good romance series, and I was wanting to get into a little bit more into the romance genre, and I actually was really enjoying that. I also need to get back into Love Live season 2. Kind of started watching that, saw like the first 3 or 4 episodes, so it wasn't really that as good as this first season. And I actually really want to start watching Non Biori Repeat, as I watched the first season of Non Biori and absolutely loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. But as for what I'm actually watching physically right now, it's Outlaw Star. I'm actually got the reversible sleeve on. But yeah, Outlaw Star, pretty good, and that's what I'm currently watching. The next question is, who was your first anime crush? It's quite an embarrassing question. I can't really particularly think, as when I was younger, anytime I had a crush on somebody, it was like more like celebrities, things like that. Or like cartoon characters, as I didn't really watch a lot of anime when I was like a kid. I don't really know. Oh man, because they're just female characters who I like really enjoy or really like, but actually having a crush on a character, Nico Robin definitely would be one. She's hot, but that's more like something within the last few years. But like a first anime crush, wow, I really have to think back. Damn. No, I'd have to get back to you on that one. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, unfortunately. But there probably are some characters that I do really enjoy. I really liked Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z, but I didn't have a crush on her. I think Dragon Ball Z characters look kind of weird, and kind of displaced from that, human. They don't really look very human. I'm trying to think any of the Sailor Moon. She was cute, but I was never a big fan of Sailor Moon. I never really used to watch it. I just remember seeing the adverts and things like that. Yeah, that's an odd question. And the final question on this list was, name an anime you think deserves more love. An anime that you feel is underrated, essentially. I definitely would say Knowing To Your Other Self. This is the complete series. I reviewed this like a few years ago. Absolutely love this series. I think it's like 26 episodes, and it basically deals with this young girl, Haruko, who is who's what they call a dragon talk, and she somehow gets intertwined between 2 different factions, Lacrima and Shangri-La, I believe, from what I remember, and they're basically 2 completely different dimensions that are basically battling for supremacy, and Haruko's dimension, our world, is caught in between that, and basically it's an interdimensional war for supremacy. Haruko and all of her friends, who you see on the front cover there, get intertwined with it, but you also find out that one of the dimensions, or each dimension, is basically alternate realities. So like you see the same characters but like at different ages, and it's really good. It's told really well, and it's a really good mix between sci-fi, like battles, really good battle scenes, and slice of life. There are a few good episodes that are just basically dedicated to the characters, because it's a very character-driven series, and just everyone's developed so well. There are a few annoying characters here and there, and a few cliches here and there that just basically typical of just anime. But it's definitely a series that I would say is worth investing in. You can get it pretty cheap. I don't know, whether or not it's available, outside of the UK, but within the UK, it's very easy to come by. I believe it is actually available on Funimation. Don't quote me on that, could be wrong. But definitely a series I would say worth investing in. Very, very good animation. I don't actually remember I don't remember who animated it. I'm trying to. Oh, it's a Satellite or Satellite. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's a fantastic anime. I don't really remember much about it. I probably need to rewatch it myself. But from what I remember of it, it definitely holds high as one of my favourite anime, and I'll definitely give it a shot. So that was my anime tag. If you like this video, you know, drop your thoughts. You know, it's been a long time since I've spoken with you guys, and you know, I've had any interaction and stuff like that on YouTube. So I would, you know, definitely like to get in some kind of discussions. As for people who are tagged, I'm not going to particularly tag anybody. If you're watching this video, consider yourself tagged. If you're a content creator, I'll post all the questions and yeah, and the video to which I was tagged in the description box below. Feels really good to be back. I will try to keep this up because there's a few things that I'm, you know, trying to prepare for, like the 24-hour manga marathon, which I'll probably end up doing in January. You know, getting back up to speed with the Sunday archive videos, which are probably going to be monthly. As you know, you kind of struggle to kind of discuss things on a weekly basis. And I need to catch up with reviews. I've read a few series in the time that I've been gone. And you know, I want to give you guys a few updates. So thanks for watching. And I will see you shortly.